Hey everyone, I am here with the Hotties and Heroes Confidence class. I am here with Damo today. Alan and Justin aren't here, but we have a special guest, Damo. He is a friend of mine. I've known him for a very, very long time, and I have got him on the show as a guest because he is a massive inspiration to me. He has overcome addiction and into now the fitness, and he's here to talk about how it's transformed his life. So, hey Damo, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm so happy to have you on here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and to be able to, tell my story and all that.
Awesome. So, I guess first question was, I just mentioned that you did suffer from addiction. What was that addiction?
That addiction was meth addiction. Pretty much had an addiction to, well, meth, basically. And
Yeah,
that went over a couple of years.
a couple of years. And what, I guess, what started it? What got you into that?
I guess what started it was probably when I was younger, there's a lot of bullying involved when I was at school. Um, pretty much I felt like I was all alone in high school. Just before the bullying and, you know, um, from that, I didn't want to come to school. I just felt like I didn't belong. I didn't belong to groups at school. I felt like I was isolated. I had no friends, and the bullying took a massive toll on me. And to this day, I can still remember, you know, what the kids and everyone else were, bullying me about, and that's stuck with me for a long time, and it still does. But from there, I just want to be involved, and I found a group of people, and it started off with just drinking, going to parties, as every teenager does, and it was good fun, and drinking alcohol, that made me feel good, that made me feel a part of, and then from there, it became just to taking, like pills and stuff at nightclubs and all that, and I thought this was great. I thought, what, this is awesome. I feel a part of. I feel grouse. This is what I've always wanted. And then from there, it took its time, and people always warned me, don't do this. You can get addicted, and I always thought, it's not going to happen to me. It won't happen to me. I won't get addicted. Anyway, from the pills and all that, it gradually moved up to ice, and well, it started off, parties and all that. It was great, and then, I'd go to a mate's place and take it there, but it was cool because I never did it on my own, so there was no addiction. But then, well, it all changed. It was something that I had to have. It no longer was um, something that I'd have just to have a bit of fun. It was something that I needed in life, and well, eventually, I started smoking by myself, and as the days and the weeks went on, I'd use it more and more and more by myself. And, from there, it wasn't just using it. It was, well, I can't work because I can't use it at work. So I never had jobs. I tried to get them, but I couldn't do it. I kept calling in sick because, well, I needed it. It became something for me to survive. And, well, basically, if I didn't have a job, how was I going to get it? I went on Centrelink and all that, and but that doesn't cover drugs. It That's not enough money. So from there, it went from doing shit that I wouldn't do if I wasn't on it. I did a heap of shit that was I'm not proud of, and my addiction just kicked in. My addiction kicked in, and the things I did, it still haunt me today. And I reckon at the end of the day, it was because I just wanted to fit in. I needed to fit in, and that's what it made me do. It made me feel great, and that's probably how it all started, unfortunately. But that's what got me there.
How long do you think it took from obviously the first time that you did it to becoming an addiction?
Um, I don't think it took that long, actually. trying to think back. Maybe the first couple months, it seemed something like I could handle. That definitely damaged my memory. But if I had to guess, maybe 6 months into it, it started to become, maybe not even 6 months, it started to become more than just a casual fun thing to do. It became something that, I had to do. And none of it was a choice. People always say, that they've always got a choice to do it. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't control it. I couldn't tell myself, no, I'm not going to do it. It had to be done. I don't care how I do it. I may like you, but if I can use you to get some shit, well, I'm going to get it. And it went down fucking very, very quick from there. Very quick.
And so what made you decide to get help? What made you decide it was time to get clean?
Basically what happened is, a lot of small bad things would happen, like just times where I couldn't get money. I literally had no one to turn to. I couldn't go home because, I had people trying to contact me saying, where are you? And I was just trying to hide off the grid. And, it came to a point where, I couldn't eat. If I wanted to eat, well, I had to go basically steal it. And it came to a point where it was either two options, basically. It was either going to be death, which, I don't reckon it would have taken that much longer, or jail, basically. It would have been a time where, I was doing some pretty bad shit, and it was only a matter of time before, I got caught. And to this day, I'm surprised I didn't get caught, but I just got desperate. I screwed over a lot of people and all that, and I couldn't turn to anyone. I couldn't trust anyone, and the paranoia was just unreal. For me, it was everyone was a cop, undercover cop, or someone had to get me. And even like an old lady down the street, I'd be paranoid thinking, well, they're out to get me. And it just got too much. I couldn't handle it. Eventually, my parents were reaching out to me, and I pushed them away, but eventually, I gave in. I couldn't even get my own drug. I didn't know what to do. So I thought maybe, if I just go get some help, yeah, that might be best for me. But at first it was more like, well, maybe if I get better for a bit, I could come back to it. But yeah, so I ended up going to my parents, and like the next day, I was in a rehab and started a long journey for recovery.
And how was that?
I remember the first 2 weeks was, I never want to experience it again. It was just rough, just coming from the drugs, coming down from them. I was shaking. I wanted to just get back out and use again. I couldn't sleep. I was, seeing things. I remember one night I thought there was like a demon in my room, whispering in my ear, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. And just detoxing off it was just unreal. And it's definitely something I never want to experience again. But, with the help of everyone at the place that I was at, I pushed through it, and, eventually, I came off it, but, I still had the cravings and all that. And the place I was at is only a 30-day program, but, they suggested, longer term rehab. And at first I thought, oh, no, I don't need that. I'll do the 30 days and I'll be fine. But, part of my addiction was gambling. And, within the first hour of being out of rehab, I was in the pokies, gambling whatever money I had left from Centrelink and all that. And from there, I know I needed more help. And, it wasn't going to be easy, because all I could think about, especially in the first 30 days, was just drugs and when I'm going to get my next hit and how I'm going to do it. And that's what I was focused on. And, I know I had to go back and ask for more help, because 30 days is not enough.
So how long were you in there?
Well, I was in the 30-day program, and then I left, and then I came back. I was in there for another 2-3 weeks, and then they got me into it's a longer term rehab in Sydney, which I was there for about 7 months. They had a 4 month. The first program was 4 months, and then they had like another 3 month program, which I did both. And from that I learned a lot. And all up, it was about 8 months in rehab. And from there, it was a blessing in disguise, because from there I learned how to deal with my issues, especially issues of being bullied. Because I've always had a body image, and the first time I ever talked about it was actually in rehab. And I think from there, I learned how to basically deal with a lot of underlying issues. And from there, we did a lot of sports activities as well. And we had like workouts twice a week. And I think that is where like I knew like I had to change like who I was, not who I was, but how I looked, because I was not happy, and that's how I wanted to get into training and the fitness side of things.
Yeah. And so how did you know, like, when you got to the 8 month mark, how did you know that you were ready and you had confidence in yourself to go out into the world again?
It's a tough question, because I didn't know what I was going to be like. I knew, because like I had so many, because I was up in Sydney as well, like I knew so many people I could turn to. And if I was struggling, I could go to one of the meetings they have up there. They have them every night. And like I was surrounded by people who actually understood my situation, because the average person, they don't understand that addiction, it's a serious thing. And just because someone's a drug addict doesn't make them a bad person. And not a lot of people understood that. And I can't really go up to just anyone and say, look, I really want some ice right now. They're not going to understand that. But you go up to another addict and you say that to them, and they understand and they can talk to you. So coming from knowing a lot of people up in Sydney to back in Melbourne, where I didn't really know that many people, it was a scary thought, but like I knew I had to do it at some point. And basically, I got back into things, and just started applying for jobs and just attending meetings. And basically just while I started training as well. And that's when I first contacted you.
Yeah. And how did you feel like when you first started getting into training? Because a lot of people obviously struggle just starting getting into training, and you've obviously come from the addiction and then rehab and then getting into training. How did that go? How did you feel getting into it?
It was an exciting thing knowing that I can change who I am. But I sort of had attempts of gyms, like going to gym in the past, and like I'd always let myself down. I tried eat for like good for a certain amount of time, and I tried train, but I don't know. I think just going into gym and you're seeing some people who are fit and all that, and you look at yourself, it was bad, because I seem to compare myself to other people. It's a problem I've always had. So it was an exciting thing, but at the same time, it was a scary thing. And knowing that I had to eat healthy, in my mind, when I first got to gym, it was, okay, you've got to eat carrot, you've got to eat your vegetables, you've got to have, a steak, which is nice and all that. But like, I thought my options for eating were very limited. And I think that's one of the things that's always stopped me from, getting healthy and, going to gym and, being on a diet. And I didn't know how I was going to go about that. So it was all confronting, and it was all, I was really nervous about it all. And I honestly didn't know if I was going to succeed again or if I was just going to fail like I have in the past.
Awesome. And like, how did you feel a few months in? Like, how did you overcome all that fear and just do it?
Um, I guess it was just determination. I guess it was, well, enough's enough. You know, this shit has led me into a place where, you know, one, I wanted to die because of the, the drugs, or I thought I was going to get locked up, and I didn't want to be in that situation anymore. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to, start over, and um, I think like it wasn't an option for me anymore. I had to do this. I wanted to do this because I felt like it was the only way for me to be happy. So I think it was just, I don't know, for me, like, because when I started training as well, I stopped smoking, and I think that was another motivation to keep training, was just to get off the smokes. And um, like, I don't know, the first few times it was a bit hard getting there, and I just pushed myself. But I think once you've gone a week there, maybe a 2 week there, even 3 weeks there, and you've got yourself into a routine, then it just, everything just gets a bit easier. Just if I just get to gym, I've done half the battle. The other half, is obviously working out and all that. But if I just got to gym, then I was right. And once I got to gym, I knew, okay, no worries, I can do my workout on that. And as the days went past and the weeks went past, I could feel myself feel so much happier. I could see a difference. Just even confidence wise as well. And things started to really change, and things started to look really good. And that's what kept me, like, kept going back, and staying on the right path.
And you became like one of the strongest dudes in the gym, like really quickly.
Yeah, I was surprised with that. Like, with dads and with everything I was doing, I think that was another big motivation. Just, I've just started gym, and I was doing a decent weight. I was right with that, and that definitely kept me going as well, and that was a big achievement for me.
And your legs too, biggest legs in the gym.
Yeah, that's something I'm proud of, and I'm still proud today. Like, I can't explain how, but just a lot of hard work and all that, and I'm right with my legs. My quads are probably the best part of my body, I reckon, that I enjoy.
They're massive. And so, like, obviously, like when you were in the gym, you did have a few setbacks, like you had your injury and stuff like that. How did you deal with that sort of situation when you couldn't train, but you needed to stay on track?
Um, it was hard. Like, when I went to the doctor, and he told me, like, look, you can't train for a while. It was sort of like a negotiation. It's like, well, no, like, what can I train then for a while? Like, I didn't want to, stop going to the gym, because I thought, well, if I stop going to the gym, then am I just gonna just fall off the rails and get too lazy to go back? But I think I handled it pretty well. Like I rested for the period that I need to, and then I got back into it, and whatever I could do, I would do. Um, and from there, um, I still kept going. Like, I didn't let it get me down. I basically refused it. I've come this far. I've seen results. I've achieved so much. So it's just, personally, it was a little setback for me, and I knew it was going to happen again at some point, and um, it's not going to be our last injury. It's going to happen again, whether it's footy, whether it's training at the gym, and it happens. But whether it happens, whether that happens again or not, I'm not going to let it set me back. I'm going to keep pushing forward, and um, because I've come so far. I've got to think about the time where I was at my lowest point, and I had nothing, to where I am now. A full-time job, and got a good group of friends, and mate, I'm enjoying gym. So what can I say?
Awesome. And I guess that leads into my next question is, like, who are you now? Who is Damo? What's life like?
Who was Damo? I'm a man now that has goals. I'm a man who, I'm reliable now. I feel personally that I'm a hard worker, and um, I'm the most, how can I describe it? I'm the most determined, and just, I'm not going to use, big words, but, I'm from where I was to where I am now, it's a massive difference. I work full time. I've got a goal that I want to save. I've got a beautiful girlfriend. Um, I've got everything going for me. I've got the life that I thought I'd never have. And all like a lot of it's got to do with just going to the gym. I did the hard work of getting off the drugs and all that, but gym's helping me stay off. And I've accomplished so much in the 2 years or so that I've been off it, and um, I'm proud. I know my family's proud of me, and you know, it's it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and I'm proud. I'm proud, and I don't know what to say. Just yeah, I think I'm pretty right with where I am, and how good I'm doing.
Definitely. And that's something too, like, I'm so fucking proud of you. People still ask me sometimes, how's Damo going? Because they know that I still talk to you. And, they know that we knew each other back then, and I know you now. And I always say he's the most fucking determined, motivated, inspirational person I've ever met. Like, I'm that proud of you. I speak so highly of you to everybody because you're amazing.
And I appreciate it, and I'll never forget, the first day I messaged you saying, look, I want to get into fitness, can you help me? And, um, and from what you've taught me and everything you've done, like a big thing was, the food. You don't have to just eat vegetables all day to, lose weight. It's all about, how you eat your food, and to this day, I can still, use that and still achieve what I want to achieve. And, from you pushing me and, assisting me, just even helping me, you know, um, show me how to meal prep and stuff like that. That's helped me. And from that, I've learned to use that myself. And, um, and those skills that you've taught me, like I use now, and it helps. And I'm forever grateful for that.
That's awesome. And you said you've got some like big goals. You're a man with goals. So like, what are some of them? What's some of your aspirations for the future?
Um, well, definitely, one big thing is, well, a house. I'm aiming to, be able to buy a house, with my partner, and we will achieve that. It's not if it's going to happen, it will happen. Um, you know, um, well, there's, I want to get bigger. That's another goal. Lifting weights. I want to get, PBs in, um, just all different exercises and all that, and just, yeah, like just to have a life, basically, to be able to do, what I want, and like even job wise and stuff like that. I guess it's just finding what I want to do and getting it done. At the moment with everything, like I'm still not sure what I want to do, but the moment I do, I'm gonna go for it.
I know you will too, because when you say you're going to do something, you always get it done.
Oh, definitely.
It's awesome.
Little setbacks and all that, but it's just moving past those and just going forward. And that's a big thing I'm living by, and like it helps.
What's your deadlift at?
It's about, it's not the best. It's about 150, 160 at the moment. Still have a little slight few issues with lower back where I injured. Still feels a bit uncomfortable. So still slowly getting back up there. It's taken a bit of time, but I know my limits of what I can do and when it feels uncomfortable. So I guess maybe I'm actually thinking about going maybe back to the physio and getting it looked at, because I haven't really had it looked at since the injury. But I'm still proud of that. I'm still proud of hitting that mark, and I know I can do better. But at the same time, because one of my biggest things was I was too cocky. You know, I chucked the weights on, and that's how I injured myself. So at the moment, it's just about not being stupid, playing it a bit smart, and leaving my ego at the door.
That's good. That's smart. Really good. And what about footy? Are you still, obviously not now because it's summer, but are you still playing footy?
Yeah, well, I've stopped playing. I've been playing for South Yarra for the last couple of years. I got injured a quad during just before finals, which made me miss out on the finals, and we happened to win the premiership, which I'm spewing about. But my quad's healed up. I'm playing some indoor soccer, getting my fitness up. I've been doing pre-season of footy. Playing for team local to me, Keilor Football Club. So I'm pretty keen to, get back into footy. And just with like pre-season and all that, I've been getting heaps fitter. I haven't really done much cardio up to, footy and that. But yeah, so a good group of guys up there, and it's I want to be a part of a club. And Keilor Footy Club's from what I know so far, it's a girls' club, and just can't wait to play next season.
That's awesome. And so obviously you are proof that, just because somebody gets addicted to ice or whatever drugs that might be out there, you're proof that it's not the end of your life, pretty much. You can get out of it. So what words or advice do you have for anybody who's listening who might be in the situation that you were in a few years ago, or somebody that might have a family member who was in your situation? Like, what advice do you have for, younger Damo?
Well, if I could go back and talk to anyone now that was in my position, it would be, it's not the end. Things can get better, and even though it might be shit now, and it might seem like, your life's basically over, you've got no hope, that's bullshit. You make your life how you want to make it, and there's heaps of people out there who do care. You can get help, you can get over this, and you can never touch it again and live a happy life. And all it takes is a bit of hard work, unfortunately a bit of suffering. That once you get past that, you can become anything you want. It's just getting past the hard part, and once you've done that, at the end of the day, it's always going to be hard. There's still days where I'll think about it and all that, but it's just I know how to deal with that now. I know how to not just go chase it when I want it, but deal with the issue and deal with the cravings, and and it doesn't as the days go on, it gets less and less. But just keep your head up, and it's not over. It's not over. You just keep pushing, and you'll get there.
That's awesome. How long have you been clean for now?
I've got a clean time counter, but I haven't checked it in a while. But it's been August. It's been over 2 years. It was August 2 years ago. I think it was the 1st of August 2 years ago I checked into rehab. And so it was about the 31st of July when I had my last bit of drugs. So yeah, it's been 2 years and 4 months, something like that.
That's awesome.
And it's been a year and a half of smoking. So that's a big achievement. Big achievement for me.
Massive achievement.
I'm wrapped, and life can only get better. Now, what's the age? Now I can travel. That's the one thing I couldn't do in addiction, is leave my area, because basically I was handcuffed to it. If I wanted to go to Queensland, if I wanted to go to America, or if I want to go to, Malta or anything like that, I could not do it. One, didn't have the money. But even if I did have the money, like, I couldn't go unless I took my drugs with me, which, not a good idea. But now, like, I've traveled, to Malta with a mate. I'll be going away again in January, and yeah, I'll be definitely going back to Europe and Malta again within the next couple of years. So life's it's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. It doesn't have to be shit, all it takes is just a bit of hard work, and fuck, it can be amazing.
That's awesome. Is there, like, and I guess back then, did you believe that life could be awesome? Did you ever think that this would be your life?
I thought, that's it, this is my life. This is how it's going to end. It's going to end somehow this way. I sort of had the back of my mind that I'm going to get caught by police for doing something stupid, and I'll be gone for, 5-10 years or whatever it could have been. And, or just even, driving intoxicated. I'm surprised I'm still alive and never crashed. So at the time I thought that was it. Nothing's ever going to get better. I didn't care what anyone said. And, I thought, like, just me and Ice, that was it. It's the only relationship I could have. But like, I proved myself wrong.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Oh, yeah. It's just, I can't describe, like, how good life is and how grateful I am to, to have overcome that. Not a lot of people don't. A lot of people unfortunately overdose, and, they get locked up and stuff like that. And, I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones that have stayed clean and, can move on with their life. And at the end of the day, I own my life, and the drug doesn't own me. I don't want anything to control me, and I don't have that anymore. I'm free, which is grouse.
That's awesome. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, or?
I guess what I can say just to finish off is just like, there's always going to be ups, there's always going to be downs, there's always going to be those times where, a lot of bad shit could just happen in a short period of time, and you could think, well, fuck, what's the point? I do get that sometimes as well, but it's just a fact of going back and realizing how far you've come, and, there's nothing wrong with a setback. Whether it's food-wise, whether it's whatever, it's not the end, just even if you had a pizza, you don't have to put yourself down and be like, oh, fuck, I fuck up and, I go eat. It's not like that, it's, all right, you've done this, all right, no big deal. You just hit the gym and you keep going. You keep moving forward, you keep pushing forward, and nothing's ever a waste. It's always, it's a learning experience, and I've had it with injuries, and, I've fucked up off my diet before, and, you move on and you get back on it. And once you're back on it, then it's just like, yeah, sweet, no worries. But at the end of the day, you can, and yourself, you're proof of this as well. If you want something, you can get it. And, you're an inspiration as well. You wanted to move to Queensland, you wanted to do this, and you're doing it, and it's awesome to see. So, I mean, if you want something, you just go take it and you'll get it.
Exactly. Oh, man. This has been probably the most inspirational episode that we've ever done, and probably will ever do. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on and telling your story, and, showing other people that, it's possible to become whatever you want to be. And it doesn't matter how low you feel, there's always a way up.
Exactly right. And, I'm grateful I've never really talked about this, and it just feels good, just to let it out, and, hopefully, just even if it's just one person who listens to it and gets something out of it, then that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm forever grateful for being on the show. And being able to get this opportunity. It's awesome.
We'll leave it there then. And yeah, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's listening. I hope like you said, I hope somebody out there's listened and they've, taken something from it, and they, it's going to help.